Okay, it's NPR's Book of the Day. I'm Andrew Limbong. One of the best privileges going to college affords is time. Yeah, sure, time to study and read books and stuff, I guess, but also time to, I don't know, bum around with your friends and talk about whatever. And interestingly enough, that's how you get to some deeper conversations about life and meaning and truth. Matt Greene's book, The Definitions, centers on some dorm mates who have these conversations, but with a dystopian twist. After the break, he talks to NPR's Lauren Frayer about how language is actually an imperfect way to communicate ideas, and how he was inspired by sending his kid to school for the first time.
This message comes from eBay. The worst part about loving cars might just be buying them and all the parts. From Toyotas to Aston Martins, eBay has thousands of cars and the largest online selection of vehicle parts and accessories. eBay, things people love.
This message comes from Mint Mobile. Starting at $15 a month, make the switch at mintmobile.com/switch. $45 upfront payment for 3 months. 5 gigabyte plan equivalent to $15 a month. Taxes and fees extra. First 3 months only. See terms.
Matt Greene's new novel, The Definitions, starts with a simple, relatable scene. New dorm mates getting to know each other. It could be any college campus. But there is a dystopian backstory. These students are survivors of a virus that has erased people's memories. I spoke with Greene and asked what inspired him to write about people trying to navigate the world in this way.
The sort of rush towards authoritarianism from electorates across the world was definitely a big consideration. The acceleration or hyper-acceleration of our sort of disconnect between language and meaning, and the industrialization of that post-meaning landscape was definitely something that was playing on my mind. But the main thing probably was that my oldest son started school.
What did you see your son going through that prompted you to imagine this dystopian world?
Well, I guess that the big influence of the pandemic would be that my son was never in any childcare before school. It's fascinating seeing kids socialise and remembering the process of doing that and seeing how quickly these social hierarchies and structures develop.
So tell me about the world that's inside this book. The characters are at a school that's called The Center. Who are the teachers? Who are the students?
So the students arrive nameless, and they acquire names from the cartridges that they are shown, which readers will recognise. I won't give away exactly what they are, but they'll certainly recognise them.
Rachel, Chandler, Ross,
exactly.
Hint, hint.
And they've been stripped of their biographical memories, so they're essentially infantilised. They've been reduced to this childhood state. They are blank slates. And they're told that they're going to be reintegrated and they're going to convalesce in this facility while their memories return to them. What becomes clear is that this centre is less a medical institution and more of a re-education camp. And they are being re-educated in a very particular political ideology, which may suggest something about the world they will be reintegrated into, if indeed they are reintegrated into it.
So the characters emerge from this virus with their ability to speak English intact, but they have to relearn vocabulary. Two of the characters debate the definition of a bench versus a chair. And I might just read a paragraph here. It's one of my favorite passages. The narrator says, "In the end, we decided a chair was a chair if it was close enough to the image of a chair that we had in our minds when someone said the word chair. But this, too, proved impossible to apply. Who was to say when Chino said chair, we were picturing the same perfect chair from which other chairs derived? Who was to say that my perfect chair wasn't really a bench or a horse or a bicycle?" I mean, that was just straight out of my philosophy classes in college. That is philosophy of language right there. What are these characters trying to figure out here?
I think what they're trying to figure out is the benevolence of the instruction that they're receiving. Given no context whatsoever, they're really unable to evaluate anything that they are being taught. So their intellectual curiosity really sort of falls on these words that they're being given. What they seem to be realizing quite intuitively in that scene and maybe beyond is that language is this really imperfect conduit. It aims to capture something that it cannot really capture. And at the same time, it offers them their most feasible possible opportunity for meaningful connection. If they can reckon with the inarticulacies of their language, they can hope to reach one another and reach outside of their circumstances. But at the same time, they have nothing but faith to take these definitions with. And as they start to realise, as you kind of see in that scene, is that nothing can truly be defined in an uncontroversial way. There's always some ideological input that is driving that.
They take classes at this school on biology and grammar, but they also take classes called politeness and intermediate subservience, which sounds like straight out of George Orwell's 1984 or Aldous Huxley's Brave New World. And most of the characters are kind of naive, maybe with the exception of one, Chino. So what doubts do we start to have about this curriculum?
I think our doubts certainly form before the matriculants' doubts, which in some cases don't form at all.
It's like we're watching them knowing what's happening to them and they don't know. I'm screaming at them, be cautious.
Yeah, it's kind of like watching a horror film and watching them go down to the basement with the flashlight, right? You know that something is afoot and they certainly don't. And that was important to me, that if I was going to write something that would be classed as a dystopia, that the characters within it wouldn't recognise what they were living through as a dystopia.
I have so many questions about this book, and I've read it.
I'm very pleased to hear that. I was quite keen that the reader go away with some questions, and I didn't want it to be something that resolves for the reader in a way that they can then package it away and not reflect on it. My hope, and maybe this is pure hubris, is that they'll sit with the questions and arrive at their own answers.
That's Matt Greene, whose new novel is called The Definitions. Thank you.
Thanks so much for having me.
This message comes from Mint Mobile. This holiday season, stop overpaying for wireless and switch to Mint. Shop 50% off unlimited plans at mintmobile.com/switch. Limited time offer. Upfront payment of $45 for 3 months, $90 for 6 months, or $180 for 12 months. Taxes and fees extra. Initial plan term only. Above 35 gigabytes, network may slow when busy. Capable device required. Availability, speed, and coverage varies. See mintmobile.com.
This message comes from Jerry. Noticing your car insurance rate creep up even without tickets or claims? You're not alone. That's why there's Jerry. Jerry handles the legwork by comparing quotes side by side from over 50 top insurers, so you can confidently hit buy. No spam calls, no hidden fees. Jerry even tracks rates and alerts you when it's best to shop. Drivers who save with Jerry could save over $1,300 a year. Don't overpay. Download the Jerry app or visit jerry.ai/NPR today.